Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. This is Cruising Calypso. So on this episode, we are back in my basement again, and we are going to be repairing our dinghy. And I'll show you here what happened to our dinghy is that, and here it is, if you can see it, it's deflated here on the basement floor. And what happened to our dinghy is that one of the ropes right here pulled off the side of the boat. As you can see on the other side, this one is firmly attached. We use these ropes when we're pulling the dinghy up on the beach, and it has come off, so I'm going to repair it. The nice thing about, in this case, a PVC dinghy is that a little bit of PVC glue and a little bit of time, and you can make a pretty solid repair. So I'm going to do that, and we will check back in a moment. Thanks. All right, guys, this is what we're going to be using to make the repair today. We're using what is basically an epoxy with not a hardener, but an additive that's put in to make the epoxy resistant to gasoline and other environmental contaminants that you find in the marine environment. So it's basically it is a one-part epoxy, but you do add in this extra product that is in the box. In this case, we happen to be using a Weaver product. No reason to use that. It happens to be the one that's most available, and it is marketed by the company that makes the snap davits that we use on our dinghy. But as I say, you can use really any adhesive. This is two-part PVC glue, as I said, two-part being one for contaminants. The other step is we have, in this case, a fairly old can of MEC, which if I could pronounce what MEC actually stands for, I would. But in this case, this product is used to wipe onto the area prior to gluing. What this product does is it softens the PVC and essentially makes it more receptive to receiving the glue and then the pad. So we will use what's left of this MEC. I presume it doesn't go bad. I've had it probably since I initially glued the snap davit pads onto this boat 7 years ago. So, you know, we will find out. I hope that's not the weak link, but we'll clean with that, and then we will see how it works out. So the first step is going to be to prepare the glue. Okay guys, I'm trying something a little different. I am trying to do a point of view filming here. The camera is on a headband, and so let's see how that works out. So the first thing we have to do is get our pot of Weaver adhesive out. Polyurethane crossover glue, PVC inflatable. And as I mentioned earlier, while this product is not a hardener, it is a product that is designed to make it possible for the glue to resist the marine environment. So, and here's the thing, I don't think we want to use the entire can of product, which always makes things a little bit more difficult when you're preparing these products, is that if you don't use the entire can, you sort of have to wing it with the measurements. And we will try to do that. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, that came off. Excellent. And we can use a secondary container. There's the glue right there, because, you know, to be honest, we don't need that much. And before you all say in the comments below, how was it that you work in such a ridiculously messy environment? I do. It is a little bit disheveled. I apologize for that. It's on my list to clean up, but let's go over and let's get a container to mix this glue in. You know, we'll be right back and we'll have a container. Okay guys, I have a plastic cup here, which is probably not ideal, but for the purposes that I am using it for, it should work. So I'm going to just crack open this right there. That's the small tube of product. of the 2-part catalyst. And the way this product works is it is kind of like a contact cement. In other words, you pour it in, and I'm going to pour about half this container in. Maybe a little bit more. I just hate to waste it. This glue is not inexpensive, and so I really hate wasting it because I could use it a second time. So let's clean that up. Let's get that all cleared up. So it's, as I was saying, this is sort of like a contact cement. So the way the instructions say to use it is to mix it thoroughly, clean the spot that you're going to be putting it on, and then let it sit for half an hour so that there we go, that's about half. For about half an hour, and so then you put the pieces together. You put product on both sides of the both pieces. You'll put some on the boat after we clean it with mech, and we'll put some on the pad that we are gluing, and then you press them together, and it grabs. And then it has a 24-hour initial cure time. And then the product, it says that the product is not really at full strength until 6 days later. So it is now March 6th, 2020. So we have plenty of time to let this cure in the basement, because we won't need this boat for several months. But we might as well get it done. It seemed like a good day to do it. I will just tell you, for those of you who are watching, upcoming next week on the vlog is we will be traveling once again to Maryland to see the new boat that we've been looking at. If you recall, I've mentioned that both in my blog on my website, and I've mentioned it, I think, here. In fact, I did. I actually have if you look one of my earlier episodes, I talk about the Sea Ray 400 Sedan Bridge that we've been looking at. We are going down this weekend for the survey. At this point, the hull survey has been completed, and it passed fine. There was no moisture in the deck or the hull. There was no blisters on the boat, so the hull is in good shape. Now the rest of the survey will be completed this weekend. And once we get that report, we will also be reviewing the oil samples, which were taken actually last fall when the oil was changed. So the oil is relatively fresh in there, so it won't make a lot of sense to have new oil samples taken. But we will be looking at the results of those oil samples, and if everything looks good, we'll make a decision on whether or not to go forward. So there we go. The product has been thoroughly mixed. Let's clean that up. Okay, so it says mix the product together 1/2 hour prior to gluing pads. Coat the pad and the inflatable with a thin coat of glue. Cover the pot up. At the end of that 30 minutes, reapply a coat of glue to both surfaces. Let stand for 2 to 5 minutes, or until the glue is dry to the touch. Reapply a third thin layer to each surface, so that's 3 layers of glue you're putting on it. And then bring the two together, pressing it tightly to make sure there's no air pockets. Let it sit for at least 24 hours before moving. I can reinflate the boat after 48, but don't use it until 6 days. So, what I'm going to do is take our friend the mech, and I'm going to clean this spot. And fortunately, there is still an outline to the extent you can see it here. That's where we're going to put it. So I'm going to clean the spot with mech, and apply our first and it does say to don't do this in an enclosed area. I do have a window open behind me, which you can't see, but okay, that's that surface. This is the pad that the rope is attached to. We're just putting the mech on. It softens both sides. Okay. Let's close that up. You always want to be careful, and I actually should be wearing gloves here, but I did not have the gloves that I wanted, so I do recommend gloves when you are using this product. Okay. Let's brush it on to both surfaces. Get a good coat. Just using a bristle brush to put it on. Take our time, get a good coverage. It doesn't have to be thick because if you recall, we're going to be putting 3 coats on. 1 coat now. Let it sit for 30 minutes. 1 coat after that. And then a 3rd coat that will be wet when I connect the 2 pieces. So you don't want it too thick here. Let's make sure we don't have that too thick. But you do want to go right out to the edges. And yes, it might squirt out a little bit, but you want to make sure this is a lifting point, at least a human lifting point. We don't hang the dinghy from this, but it's a lifting point. And so we want to make sure it has a good contact. Okay. You can see that. That is coated. And then we will coat this spot here. You know, I have to tell you, I've had pretty good luck with this glue because this is the same product I used when I initially installed the snap davits, which is how we carry this boat. And they are rubber pads, much like this pad that holds the line on the outside of the boat. And those pads, which do take the full weight of the boat, have held up extremely well. I have to tell you, they have held up extremely well. And the boat hangs or clips in and is supported by them nicely. Okay, 2 thin coats. Now we got our 30-minute wait. So now it is 1:35. We'll be back at 12:35. We'll be back at 1:05. Later. Okay, it has been 30 minutes. And let's see. Yeah, that's dry to the touch. So we're going to put on another thin coat. On both surfaces. As you can see, we have plenty of glue here in the pot. Let's make sure I get the edges here. So I certainly didn't need the whole pot, which I didn't use, but you can see that a little bit goes a long way. Okay, so that is covered. Set that down. And this time we're just waiting for it to dry to the touch. Okay. Because after we put this coat on, we will put one more coat on, and then we'll make the connection between the two. It's a bit of a process, but again, you're talking about a surface that has to be very strong. This is not something that is any room for margin, because we want to be able to use this line on the side, attached to the side of the boat, to lift the dinghy onto the beach. So that's how we use it. Okay, back again in 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 2 or so minutes, maybe 3. As you can see, we've got everything around here. Over here, this is the new camper canvas that was done for the boat last year. The new carpet that we put in the cockpit last year. And then it's going to be all new isinglass in the front of the boat this year. So again, the boat is for sale. Anyone who's interested in a 2000 Sea Ray 310, it's a good buy. It's a good boat. A lot of upgrades, brand new electronics. Take a look. There is a link on my website, www.cruisingcalypso.com. All right. Last one's the charm. There's a lot of glue here. A lot of layers of glue. It's an interesting process, but I'm guessing that this is a process that has been refined over many years of using this product and what works best. But it is quite the process, that is for sure. And fortunately, you can't smell this product through the camera, but let me just tell you, even with that window open up there, it's pretty awful. For those of you who have ever worked on model airplanes and used the product on the wings and the body, it smells like that. Probably dating myself. People probably don't make model airplanes anymore, but if they do, there's a product that is used used to be used on the body and the wings that smells something like this. It's referred to as aircraft dope. I think mostly Monocoat is used now. Again, I want to make sure I cover the full parameter of the area that will be touching. It's a little hard because the surface is soft, so I can't like reach behind this and connect the two. I'm just going to have to press really hard. Okay, let's set this down right here. Make sure that is the way we want it. Get that essentially lined up over the spot right there and push it down really, really hard. Every spot I can. I need to push down and press this piece onto the boat so the edges grab and the center grabs It's actually a pretty good shape for that. So you can see how I can press that on. And now we leave it. That actually looks like it's grabbed pretty well. It looks like it grabbed pretty well. Just push all these edges down. Make sure there's no air under there. Okay, so we have completed the project. As you can see, it is glued on now. Hopefully that will hold. Let's just take a look at that from all sides. And again, 24 hours minimum before you can move the boat, and 6 days before it's fully cured. So we'll see. Once again, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for watching the vlog. If you like it, please subscribe. Click the bell if you want to be reminded when we put up new videos. And we will see you next time. And we will be heading to Maryland. Take care.